Hi, I'm Nicholas Johnson. I'm the publisher of Axios. Thank you so much for being here today. Everything that we're doing all week at Axios, all the awesome conversations we're a part of, wouldn't be possible without the support of our partners. So we're hugely grateful to Lightspeed Venture Partners for hosting us today at the Lighthouse. And I'm happy to be joined for a view from the top conversation by Glean CEO and co-founder Arvind Jain. Arvind, welcome to the Lighthouse. Good to see you. Welcome to Davos. Let's start big picture. Tell us a little bit about Glean and your journey that got you here today.
Yeah, so Glean is a AI search company, so you can think of it like Google or ChatGPT, but inside your company. Glean connects with all of your company's data, and then it's ready to help your employees get answers to their questions that can be answered using your internal company's data and knowledge. So that's what we do. We got started in 2019, which makes us probably the first enterprise company that brought the transformer technology, into the businesses. And our journey for why we got started was it's a day-old age-old problem. All of us struggle to find information inside our company, as knowledge workers. And I was struggling with it myself, at my previous startup, Rubrik, got frustrated enough to actually start the company.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about AI augmenting the human experience. Julie just talked about that, how she uses it. Dig in a little bit deeper to what's your vision for that and the role AI can play as almost like a partner to the knowledge worker.
Yeah, well, in fact, and that's a great question. If you think about AI today, a lot of conversation is about efficiency. It's about replacement. How can I not have this customer service agent or this HR professional who's answering people's questions? How can I get AI to do it? And I feel that's actually a very small part of what AI is going to be doing for us, in our world. A lot of what AI is going to enable, is new things, new products that we're going to build, new design for our companies. And that's the thing that, I'm most excited about, how humans can actually use AI to do things that they couldn't do before, as opposed to just having this limited view of that AI can actually do something that I can do today.
That's very interesting. The way I think about it, I'm trying to follow Julie's advice is try and test it every day. And I'm taking things I do already and trying to have AI do it for me. Your angle is a little bit different. How should we think about doing things we don't even do now and giving it to AI?
Yeah. Well, I'll give some examples. So one, I think everybody can start to feel more powerful with AI. It's part of working with AI, doing things that you couldn't do before. I'll give you one example. I'm always worried in my company that people are meeting each other all the time and they're not writing enough code. And so I had this question for the last 4 years, 5 years, that how many meetings do we have on a daily basis? How many of them have more than 5 people in it? Because I feel they're all waste of time.
Right.
And so, but I couldn't actually get I can't sanction a project for somebody to do that analysis and look at our calendar data and get all of those answers. But now I feel capable. I can just go and ask Glean internally this question. It connects with our calendar data. It's able to actually get that dump, do some data analysis on it, write code on the fly, all of those things, which I don't have to do. I'm not actually acting like an engineer when I do that.
It's not something you would have done before. It's something it would have been impossible, essentially, without that
Absolutely,
kind of technology.
As I said, I was waiting for 4 years to get the answer to that. Yeah.
There's a word you've used in our conversations about a fulfilling work experience. What do you mean by that as far as bringing AI into the workplace?
Yeah. Well, a lot of as knowledge workers, we're supposed to have an advanced job, something that needs intellect, but we end up spending 80%, 90% of our time doing things which are, sort of
not advanced,
boring and repetitive, and
right.
So I think that's the thing that I feel AI is going to be really good at. Anything that repeats, that's done a lot. AI technology is sort of meant to be really, really good at sort of replicating that behavior for us. So what I see in the future is this place where we can actually spend a lot more time doing creative things.
I've thought about a little bit this. There's tasks that arrive at me and I'm I don't want to do this. And that's when the light bulb goes off. Maybe I can ask a robot to help me.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that, and this is a huge topic I think for all AI conversations this week in Davos, is that relationship between AI augmenting workers or AI replacing workers. Walk us through your thinking on that.
Yeah. So I think ultimately, and if you look at predictions with AI, I read a report yesterday, which says that there's going to be 150 million new jobs that are going to be created, and there's going to be 90 million jobs that are going to be displaced. So overall, we are still talking about humans are going to have jobs. Like we're going to
Right.
be doing something. We're not going to the beach and like have AI agents run companies, behind the scenes. So that's not the world we are heading towards. So what does it mean for us? It means that like a lot of what AI is going to be doing is it's going to actually play a role of an assistant for us as humans. Like we will still be the the masters that drive this technology, and it just allows us to do more things.
Yeah, like as a human, I'm very pro-human in this discussion, and so I feel like you're coming down as like keeping the human in the loop. This is something that is a tool for that, but the final decision making is still the human sitting on the top.
Yeah.
Spin this forward. Look ahead for us next year and years beyond. What is coming over the horizon? What are you excited about? What are the new technologies and enhancements that's on your radar?
Yeah. So one thing I think like the industry has gotten really good at talking about like the art of the possible already with AI. Like everything that we hear in the market about autonomous agents and agents talking to each other, like which people are talking about right now, we find it very, very hard to actually make that a reality. So I think like so part of it is like what's going to be coming this year is I think hopefully like everything that you hear today, like which people are already selling, like products, they're all actually starting to work at like not just in POCs but in production scale. So I think like the big thing for 2025 is one, we will see a significant amount of automation that will be driven through agents. And these are not going to be agents that are completely autonomous. Like even if a human is in the loop, like you can easily drive 90% more efficiency than today, with humans in the loop. So like we are very content with like building agents, where the humans.
And so that's empowering an agent to go and make those decisions, but then have to come back to the human and check in at certain types of it. I want to take the flip side of all the optimism, and like there's a lot of concerns about security and trust with these kinds of tools because they're so powerful. Tell us how to think about that, and how should we be vigilant as these become more important?
Yeah. So first, I think when you think about within the enterprise, AI systems that you build, you have to be careful in terms of like, AI should not actually create new problems for you. As an example, like imagine you connected all of your enterprise data and knowledge, gave one agent access to all of that information.
Which is a lot, and it's important information, right?
Yeah, and then this agent is serving everybody in the company. Well, I mean, like now, I can get access to information that I was never supposed to. So that's the first thing that you have to solve. Like, when you actually build these agents, you have to understand, the governance model that you have within the enterprise. Make sure that any AI system that you deploy follows and obeys, that model.
Is that almost like baking into the construction of these agents a sense of caution, like your meeting idea? Well, let's analyze all the meetings. Well, now I can see who's in those meetings, and that should be something you probably shouldn't share all over.
Exactly. So it has to respect, the permissions and the governance of information that you have already established in the enterprise.
Be aware of the power and then keep those rules. And
exactly.
Right? Yeah. We're about to get the hook here, but you at Axios would like to end on one fun thing. At Davos, I make that one Davos thing. This is your first visit to Davos.
Yes.
Welcome. What's your impression so far? What are you excited about for the week?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I think this is a great event. I think it's a combination of like, I feel like I'm on vacation at the same time as actually, getting some business done. So that's the most exciting.
I'm certainly
part.
watching people on vacation.
Yeah. And then I think I was actually, people told me it's going to be very, very cold. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised at how good the weather is.
That's true. The weather is great this year. This is awesome. Arvind, thanks so much for the time. Lightspeed, thanks you so much for hosting us. Stick around. I'm going to bring Ina back up for the big finish.
Thank you.
Thanks. You know what this way.